What's good, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. And in today's video we're going to be doing my round 4 tips and predictions for the AFL season. So firstly we'll be going through my round 3 tips and seeing how well I did in tipping. And the round 4, it looks like a pretty good fixture, so I'm excited to go through this fixture with you guys, and I'm going to be doing my tips. Feel free to leave your tips down in the comments as I would love to know them. Let's set a like goal, 20 likes. So for this round, I got a 7 out of 8. Of course, it says 6 out of 8 because I forgot to tip the Essendon Port game, and I actually tipped Essendon in my tipping video, so that counts as a tip. So 7 out of 8, one more from a perfect score because I got the last game wrong. But let's see what game I got wrong. So I tipped Essendon in a very, very close matchup at Marvel. Essendon got the job done. Carlton, again, they do really well in the first half, I'm not going to lie. And then in the second half, they just fall off and absolutely choke. I feel like it's going to be a common thing for Carlton this season. Of course, going 0-3, their mindset not being too good now. Western Bulldogs absolutely have guns. That number 42 player, I don't really know his name. Need to catch it, but yeah, he is going to be a gun for the future for the Doggies. Of course, Riley Sanders did pretty well, and yeah, they really kept up with them. Melbourne as well, they just keep losing like Carlton, but even worse, and they lost to Gold Coast in not a good game of footy, MCG. Yeah, it was just a terrible game in general. And St Kilda vs Richmond, I'm not going to lie, Richmond looked pretty good at the start of this game. Seth Campbell kicking 1 goal straight away to kick it off. And then the first half looked pretty good for Richmond, and we thought, yep, they are definitely a shot. Then in the third and fourth quarter, they were literally goalless. They were goalless, without a goal. Was it goalless or did they kick 1? I'm not sure. I think they were goalless in the second half, and that's why St Kilda, they ran out of gas, the Richmond Tigers did they, and just St Kilda just kept kicking goals just for fun at Marvel Stadium. It was just terrible. And then at UTAS, we had Hawthorn versus GWS. Hawthorn got the job done by 12. Believe it or not, if you didn't watch the game, GWS was 34-1 and Hawthorn were losing by 33. That was a terrible start to the game. I cannot believe it myself. I'm just ashamed of how we handled the situation at the start. I mean, we didn't really know how the conditions were like. It was very windy, and we were kicking against the breeze first, so we kicked no goals, and then so it was like 5-zip, and then Hawthorn kicked 6 goals with the breeze. We kicked 6-zip, and then it was pretty even near the end, and then Hawthorn got the job done in a close, terrible, windy condition game. Then we got the Brisbane Lions versus Geelong. Geelong choked against Brisbane in that game, but Brisbane somehow came and stole the chockies from the Geelong Cats at the Gabba. This was a rescheduled game and they got the job done, and it was a pretty good game in general. Then we had the Crows taking on the North Melbourne Kangas. Adelaide got the job done, easy. Against North Melbourne, I feel like this is a very, very good tip. And I was like, oh yeah, let's go for the last game. It's a hit or miss. If I get a 9 out of 9, we'll see. But if I tipped Freo, I would have got a perfect score and I would have been pretty happy. But I tipped West Coast. Out of all choices, I tipped West Coast to tip the last game. Pretty gutsy for me, but I thought they'll do it in a derby, the 60th derby, and I feel like maybe they have a chance, and they didn't do it. They didn't do what was asked, and they just really flopped. The first half, 28-48, and then yeah, Freo just ran away with it. So yeah, that's my round 3 tips. It was a pretty good round of tipping. Now let's go into this round and hopefully get a better score. So the first game on the Thursday night is Collingwood versus Carlton. I can't wait for this matchup to unfold. Of course, we'll see about 90k in the house for this game. And I can't wait to see the Koning and Darcy Cameron matchup. I feel like it's just going to be a really good game. And especially between the battle between the two boys, Patrick Cripps and Nick Dacos will probably rip to a 95,000. It's going to be a big game to tip this one. I feel like everyone is wanting me to tip the Blues or the Pies. I don't know. But I think with the form of Carlton, they've been so terrible, 0-3. Can they go 0-4 for the first time in a while? And I feel like Collingwood, they just have the skill level with Nick Dacos and the ability with Bobby Hill, Dan Houston. I feel like they're just going to be the better team, and the Collingwood Magpies will cruise and get it done by 32. Now the second game of the round is Melbourne taking on the Geelong Cats. Of course, we saw the Geelong Cats coming off a win against the Lions, a ripping win, and absolutely stole the show from the Brisbane Lions. And then we got the Melbourne Demons, who lost by like about 61 points against the Gold Coast Suns and started 0-3. I feel like it's at their fortress, of course, the Geelong Fortress, and I feel like is there a little upset unfolding here, and one of the biggest upsets you'll ever see of the round. I feel like Melbourne, they might have a little bit of a touch, a little bit of magic coming into this game, and really Simon Goodwin will give them some talk, and I feel like I believe in the D's in this one, and they'll get the job done by 3 points and steal it. So the next game's on the Saturday afternoon, 5th of April at People's First Stadium. It's the Gold Coast Suns taking on the Adelaide Crows. Of course, we'll see a Matty Rowell feature against Little Ben Keys or Jordan Dawson. It will be a pretty good matchup, I feel. Very high scoring, in my opinion. I feel like it will be a very, very good match, and I feel like it will be back and forth. But then in the second half, Gold Coast will just run away and absolutely keep scoring goals, and they won't stop, and they'll just be like the Gold Coast you'll see on an original Saturday game. And I feel like the Gold Coast Suns will get the job done by a good 43 points. So we have the Richmond Tigers taking on the Brisbane Lions at the MCG Saturday, 5th of April, 4:15pm. Sam Lalor, he hasn't been a big player for the Richmond Tigers as of yet after the Carlton game, but still I feel like he'll show his colours at the big MCG, as they haven't played for a while here since the Carlton game. And I feel like Richmond, they'll show some colours in this game. I feel like they'll definitely show they're ready to fight. They're always in the contest, while the Brisbane Lions, they just keep kicking goals on the other end, and Richmond's defence is a bit lacky. But I feel like Brisbane and Richmond, it will be a decent game, and I feel like the Lions will get the job done by a good 23 points. Now we have North Melbourne versus Sydney on the Saturday night, 7:35pm. The only Saturday night game for this round at Marvel Stadium. North Melbourne have been showing some light in the unit after a win against but they've been really showing their colours now. And Sydney, well, they haven't looked the best of the best. They haven't looked like their premiership material yet. They haven't shown anything like that, but I feel like it's against an easy side called North. What else do you expect? I feel like Sydney will just cruise past them and they'll get the job done by 36. So on the first Sunday game of the round at 1:10pm at NG Stadium, we got the Giants taking on the West Coast Eagles at 1:10pm. Can't wait to see what Harley Reid can do. And the Giants, of course, they lost against the Hawks last week, and the West Coast Eagles also lost against the Fremantle Dockers. So I feel like the Giants, they're the more experienced side with youth. They have Toby Green, who's going to be a real big factor. Fino Callahan, who's been really good for the Giants, and I feel like Giants, they're looking premiership material, and I feel like they'll get the job done very convincingly, and probably the biggest, smashing 71 points. So Saturday, 3:20pm at the Adelaide Oval on Channel 7 broadcast, we got the Saints taking on the Port Adelaide Power. Can't wait to see this game. I feel like it's going to be an absolute thriller and go down to the wire with Wangani Miller having a great game. I feel like he'll do really well for the Saints. And the Port Adelaide Power, I can't wait to see what they can deliver at their home deck. But I feel like the St Kilda Saints, they look very, very good and very, very convincing coming into 2025 after that big win against the Tigers, and I think they'll get it done in a thriller by 8 points. Now we got the Doggies taking on the Fremantle Dockers at 5:10pm at Optus Stadium. I think it's going to be a banger of a game. Of course, we know the Bulldogs, they look alright. I feel like they can compete with the Freo Dockers after that big win derby at Optus Stadium for the Freo Dockers. I feel like the Doggies, they have the real good youth and the great talent, as well as the Fremantle Dockers, they have some good youth too. But I feel like Doggies, they have way better youth. Of course, they got Riley Sanders. They got such great players coming to the gates, and I feel like Bulldogs will get it done by 23. Now like and subscribe to the channel for more quality content on the AFL Talks YouTube channel, because there's going to be some banger videos coming out. Subscribe to the channel, like or 20. Let's get to 800 subs. See you guys in the next one.